What will we be seeing? I assume BDS will probably try and stick to that Wamai pick. I think NIP rely on that very heavily, especially for a map like Clubhouse. We're expecting to see a lot of the denial operators kind of come in. There's the Thatcher, no surprise. Put your hand up if you thought you were surprised by that ban.
No one's hand's gone up.
Nope, no one's hand's
I'm looking around and I'm struggling to see a hand anywhere that has gone up. Oh,
well,
there it is. There's the target ban from BDS, removing Monty. NIP.
Outrageous ban.
It's a great ban. It makes a lot of sense. The Monty effect no longer a thing, Demo.
Oh, not going to be the Wamai ban. Instead, Goyo is going to be banned out as well. Okay. Goyo, very strong with the deployable shields. Great for nearly every single bomb site you go to. Just gives you an extra layer of protection as well. And then there's the mirror, so no surprise. Right, so that means Maverick's going to be up, which should be taken, I think, 100% of the time. And all, if we don't see a Maverick, we'll be a little bit worried.
I brought my briefcase.
Good. We'll have to sell some Mavericks to everyone. Maverick on this map is essential. You need to have your Maverick. Why settle for less whenever you have a Maverick, you know?
Rafal immediately onto the Maverick pick there.
We were around his door today, weren't we? Selling it to him.
Just letting him know that there is a discount on Maverick on Clubhouse today. It is the low price of free. It is unbanned, so it is therefore available for selection. Shaiko finally reunited with Ash as well. Didn't have the best game over on Coastline. I'm sure he's looking to make an impact in the here and now. It was really a big story about Elems over on that previous map demo.
It was. Elem stepping up big time. Shaiko looking pretty out of it for the entirety of Coastline. But the thing is, right, is that we know the potential that Shaiko has. We know how good the guy is. If all the 4 members of BDS, except for Shaiko, were performing really well as competition, performing really well today, what happens to the unlucky team who has to play against the 4-man BDS who are all out of their minds, killing everything, and then Shaiko wakes up? How are you supposed to play against that?
It's the dangerous thing about this BDS roster, and I think it's one of the things that's enabled it to develop and gain a lot more depth throughout the recent season inside of VUL, is the fact that it is no longer a one-man show. It is no longer solely relied on one person for the kills. Multiple members on the team are stepping up and having those big, impactful performances, and that's something that we're really seeing generate round and game wins for them. In the here and now, they're going to be starting on attack here on Clubhouse. We do have a Cade employed by Julio. It's going to have Caded off Kitchen Hatch and I would imagine Moto Hatch as well. So they're usually 2 hot spots. We can see him, in fact, ready to try and trick onto this hatch.
Yep, no surprise with the Kaid. Very difficult operator to deal with, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. I mean, BDS, they have that Maverick. You can open up hatch and, well, usually we don't see like every hatch opened unless there is, you know, a Kaid ban on the board, then you can, but I think it's a bit of a risk. Bit of a risk for Bride just to go around and try and place his charges in every single hatch without actually knowing what side they want to take. Usually you will find the system off, if a team wants to go for like a church take, they will take the Moto hatch and that's really it. They'll play around with that. If they want to go for like a kitchen dirt take, they'll just take the kitchen hatch. I think 9 times out of 10, we usually see BDS try and trigger in towards that blue. I think that's a very pivotal location that they like to try and pressure onto. Anyone they're playing against, they will always try and take blue. So that hatch being open isn't really a surprise. But this is the thing. The Kaid's there. Very, very difficult. Bride has the pellets, but cannot open up the hatch.
There needs to be something that happens there to Julio inside of Moto, because for all that Bride has a number of X-Kairos pellets to work with, there's only so many left. He's got 6 there remaining, so it maybe comes down to somebody else to open the hatch. But no, in fact, it will be opened. So Julio just really looking to burn a little bit more time there, really, as that hatch is always going to get opened, especially when Maverick is available. Pino has a nice C4 lined up, and he's maybe just waiting for a player to drop before letting it fly. It's going to have to travel directly over the reinforced wall. It's never an easy one to try and get. Pino, I'm not sure if the sound was maybe masked there, but he's certainly lacking some crucial information. It's one of those times where we just want to scream, just throw the C4, you're going to be fine, yet the C4 is still firmly in his hand. Rafal can now look to try and make some holes inside of this church wall. Julio finds the first frag there over onto Shaiko, as Rafal looks to cook a grenade and toss it on through, but there are going to be some ADSs there that are going to assist Pino in holding on to this crucial location.
Holes work both ways, and NIP are using that to full effect. And BDS, they have to try and climb into the bomb site any which way they can and rush in and find the kills. All of them stacked up towards main stairs. Julio trying to hold them back, but he will get eliminated. 10 seconds to go. Here comes the basement bloodbath. Bride eliminated. Psycho holding firm, holding that run in. And now NIP, all they have to do is sit back, relax, and let the time tick away for BDS, and that's exactly what happens. NIP holding basement firm.
Interesting to see no pressure really come in through Kitchen there. Now, I know that NIP had some C4s on their side, but Kitchen seemed to be the long-forgotten land there from BDS. And I think had they been able to provide a little bit more pressure through there, things like Ashrush Sport start to become a lot more viable. Even just opening up Dirt Tunnel and then making a full rotation can be enough to remove players. We saw Kamikaze, he was able to basically hide out inside a Dirt Tunnel, entirely safe for pretty much the whole round there. A difficult one for BDS. They really struggled to gain any significant entry. They didn't actually even get open that church wall.
2 kills came from the Maverick calls in the triple wall. That's crazy for NIP. BDS trying to go for that triple wall take, not working out for them. Like you said, Kitchen Dirt is, I think, usually the bomb site, or like the attacker into that bomb site that we see the most. I think it's, across all regions, probably the highest attack win percentage as well. Very, very easy. If you can take Dirt, which I think is probably the toughest bit, is winning that 1v1 against like a Smoke or a Mute, whoever it is inside of Dirt. But once you have that Dirt control and Kitchen secured, it's very, very difficult for any defensive side to really hold that.
Kitchen and Dirt is a handshake, isn't it? You know, you need both of those to be able to get yourself on in. The thing that's sort of developed over the years of watching Clubhouse and seeing how it's grown as a map, you know, you need control of everything. And there's no real excuse for not having a player in blue, in Moto, bottom main stairs, and in Kitchen, and in Dirt Tunnel. Like, you need presence in the majority of those zones. You know, 3 out of those 5, it isn't always enough. You just need a little bit of something. And even if it's an open hatch and no one's up there, even if it's an open Dirt Tunnel and no one's pushing down, you've just got to give that doubt to the defenders, give them more angles to watch, because we've seen what happened when you announce yourself to a team like NIP. They're more than happy to say, oh, coming from main stairs, are you?
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
My name's Julio, my name's Pino, and we are just going to gun you down.
So, BDS losing their first attack, and one thing I have to highlight, yes, it's very, very early on, but Shaiko, another opening death. What is it with him today and just trying to look for that opening engagement, but not winning his gunfights? Not sure.
He does seem to be struggling, though.
Like, there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened already in SI. I think the craziest thing is Shaiko has not performed to his expectations. I think that's the craziest thing out of them all.
And the fact that BDS still ended up with such a high seed.
Yes, true.
That's the scariest thing. That, for me, is the scariest thing. And it's one of the reasons why we can say, you know, yep, Shaiko might not have had the best tournament so far, but there's only a certain amount of kills to go around. And if those kills are being gained by other people, then it just is what it is. The problem then comes when BDS start to lose games and start to lose series and stuff, which, you know, hasn't happened yet. But that's when the problem starts to become a little bit deeper for them here. Now, we are just experiencing a quick rehost here. There was a problem after we'd finished round number 1. But fortunately, we are on the land build, so everybody can get back in nice and quickly. As I can see the players filling up the lobby right about now.
Land build is great. We have missed it. So quick, being able to get people in. Just nice. But yeah, NIP, Clubhouse, starting on the defense. You would expect them to have a strong half. I think they need to try and overwhelm BDS in that defensive. I think they need to, aim for a 4-2. 5-1 would be, ideal, but they could still probably get the map win if they take a 4-2. If it's not a 4-2 and it's anything less than that, then I do worry for them. I think BDS, whenever they get in the defense with NIP and their attacks have not been as strong as their defensive halves this entire tournament, with the time that we've kind of highlighted on Coastline, I worry for them.
If anyone at home wondered what NIP were actually looking at there, they're looking at the light bars. They move up and down. Anyone that watched the hammer sort of being presented and revealed will know that the hammer came down from the ceiling and there was all the light bars as well, and there's one half that's blue, there's one half that's orange. they are currently doing a little bit of a dance for us.
Doing a dance show.
And yeah, it's something that we do love to see. I think we're going to get a view of it there right now for you so you can see. I mean, what about the venue demo? It's incredible, isn't it? You know, we came in yesterday and it was just the lighting, the atmosphere, everything about it is amazing. The fact that the teams are actually opposite one another as well is quite unique. It's not something that we get to see all the time. Typically, you're going to be in, you know, just a line or maybe like a bit of a V shape. But these teams are seriously, in every meaning of the phrase, head to head, facing off against one another.
Yep. You look up at your monitor, you will see the enemy team. So, here we go. Back into the map we go. Defense will now move towards that cache room. No surprise, this is usually the second pick bomb site. Well, I mean, basement, cache, take your pick. You're going to see them either way. Doesn't matter what order it is. I mean, gym and bedroom, for me, Ollie, it's actually probably my favorite bomb site on this map. I actually really like the gym and bedroom. I think it opens up the defense to have much more of an aggressive standpoint. I think if you're an aggressive team or an aggressive player, that will be a bomb site that you like to play with.
We'll have to see just how aggressive BDS are able to get onto this now. As for, you know, in terms of controlling the map and getting those opening sort of checklist things done on Clubhouse, they were able to do that pretty easily. There was no real roam presence from the side of NIP, and you know, sometimes you kind of worry. You kind of think, you know, I'd like players at least on half stairs, you know, playing at the half stairs at blue, playing at the half stairs at main stairs, just threatening, just, you know, firing out a few shots, taking out a few drones, denying a bit of intel, doing whatever you need to do in the early part of the round. There's of course the full roam strategy where you employ the sort of drone denial, but we didn't see that from NIP. They were very reserved. They were very happy to just sit back in the bomb site and lean into those really powerful angles. Now, that's going to give BDS a little bit more time to work with. It's time they need to use wisely. This round is going to be a little bit different, as they're going to be able to get open this east wall pretty much for free, as Renshiro is going to pre-remove all of that soft wood and allow Rafal to destroy the reinforcement with Maverick's blowtorch.
Yeah, no surprise. One thing you have to do on this bomb site is basically take it as if you're, I don't know, baking a cake. You have a recipe book and you have to try and follow every single step. You know, you're not going to put your flour in before beating your eggs, are you?
I mean, I am no baker. I'll be honest with you. I would not know the order of the things, but...
You're not going to sieve your flour, are you?
I mean, something that I would know is that the first thing you want to do is get east wall open. That's usually a good place to start here when attacking. Get that rotation cut off, split the bomb site in half, and make it difficult for players to transition them between either garage, through CCTV, into cache. All of a sudden, you've got something to work with there. If someone's inside a garage, typically they're going to be fairly well committed to that zone. As it stands, NIP, they've invested quite heavily inside of the master bedroom side, and there's only Muzi playing on garage.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what side BDS want to try and take. It looks as if it will be a garage push. So that's where they're going to try and open up next. Rafal will make a little bit of a line and hopefully finish that off. Perhaps looking for a nade potentially as well could be an option for him. But decides just to back away and wrap round along with Bride. Alems finds the opening pick. That's going to be Psycho. Where was that from? Where was Alems hanging out? Just by the breach. Oh, it was a swing perhaps. And NIP getting caught out by the Sophia.
I think Muzi's potentially been droned there. Shaiko going to push himself up cache, but there's no intel here for the side of NIP. Finds himself a freebie onto Kamikaze, can dip back, destroy that Banshee. Muzi is going to be in such a crucial engagement here. Alems has just walked on in. Muzi and Pino respond, finding a couple of kills each, but it still leaves the advantage here with BDS, and the position of Muzi in the bottom of garage isn't ideal either. He's going to drop and maybe look to make a rotation up blue as Pino's getting himself into a head-to-head gunfight here. Draws for the shotgun, going to go for the swing, shuts down Renshiro with the headshot, but gets downed himself. Muzi now having to push on through. A C4 from below, that's going to be massive. Bride, he's got 12 seconds, but he's still going to go for the plant. Muzi might know this, chooses not to revive Pino and not to push Bride. Two big decisions there that cost him a good couple of seconds. The plant has now been confirmed, but Bride, he can't actually make his way back out. He's scared of getting taken down there on the rotation. Not working off all too much information here. They're going to swing it one by one. They give him two 1v1s, but Muzi's better. Finds the headshot. You can probably hear NIP in the background. They're very happy with that one. That's a huge clutch there for Muzi.
Pino and Muzi, do not forget about the other one, Ollie. They go hand in hand as that duo for NIP, and they show up once again where it is needed. BDS were all over NIP, walking up into the bomb site. But, of course, had to be Pino and Muzi to show up time after time and make things happen. BDS getting caught out. Surprised that they lost that round. I think they didn't prioritize the plant enough. I think they kind of thought, okay, Alems is in the bomb site. We all have to rush and help him out. Where in that circumstance, Alems has got his kill. He's denied a C4 potentially from the kite. He's done his job. At that stage, you have one guy in breach, you have another guy behind him on catwalk, you have one guy planting. And that is the only thing they should have prioritized, but they did not. They chased the kills, they got greedy, and they got punished.
A strange round from BDS. To see players like Shaiko just be allowed to push up cash stairs, to see Alems essentially just crouch walk his way into cash. You've got to ask questions at that point when the round then doesn't go in your favor as to what's gone wrong and what's happened, because site control was something that was passed between the hands of both of these teams for a good portion of that round. It wasn't clear who was in direct control of the site. There was times when BDS had an advantage. There was times when NIP seemingly had the advantage. But ultimately, the clutch factor. Brede, tough spot. 12 seconds left. Is that the time to be going for the plant, or do you start to look for the kills? Always going to be a difficult one. I imagine because he went for the plant, he would have had the information. He would have known in that instance that Pino was down, because he then knows he's in the 1v1 and he's expecting Pino to be revived. He's going to get the plant down, extend the time, then he knows he's just got to clutch the 2v1. It's the best possible outcome at that moment in time. Someone else could look at it and say, well, if you think he's getting revived, push it. It's essentially a 1v none at that point if someone's locked into a revive animation. But that is all things to think about on another day. For now, we just look and focus on what's going on in front of us. NIP 2 rounds up here on Clubhouse. Sure, they're on the defense, but they've come out very strong after the performance on Coastline.
Gym and bedroom defense for them now as well, that NIP have to try and hold. BDS taken in from security, no real surprise. This is where the kind of aggressive bomb site choice of Gym and bedroom can play into an advantage of a particular team. And well, for NIP, where they like to have this roam game, you have to kind of extend in towards construction, in towards the cash room and deny access. And just don't give away early map control to the attackers. It is definitely a necessity. Muzi on top of the main stairs. He's got plenty of ADSs and shield as well, and there goes the Wamai disc. Even so much utility being fired in, and Pino's going to be one to open up with a C4 kill, and Psycho as well. BDS, they've thrown everything that they can at this defense from NIP, but it has not worked. They've lost 2 men. Finally, they have a bit of control, and Shaiko's going to need to go big. Can he see another one? No, he can't. Pino just about gets that kill. Shaiko almost had him, but it still leaves Bride inside of the 1v4, and Ollie, BDS can't even get past the first wave.
Poor old Brede, eh? 2 1v X's inside of the first 3 rounds. At this point, he's just taking his time. Yep. He's thinking, you know what? There's essentially a minute free tack time out here. To be able to clutch this kind of a 1v4, it is not going to be easy. We can see some questionable Toxic Babe canisters getting tossed on out there. NIP maybe don't have the information as to where Brede is. He's going to get himself out onto the rappel. Seemingly composed, try and gather a little bit of information, maybe just learn a bit about the setup, see what NIP are bringing here, because the likelihood is that they're going to be going up here again to defend. He's going to be able to search out one of the players inside of cash. A bit of an extended run out there. Some unnecessary aggression. You don't really want to give Brede any 1v1s here, as however unlikely it is, it's still doable that he's able to clutch this out. A Toxic Babe is going to cut off his ingress. Well, with only 15 seconds, as every second ticks on by, it becomes increasingly more unlikely that this is going to be a clutch for Brede, and it's more likely going to be an impactless frag at the best. He does go for the swing, but Muzi is there ready and waiting to shut him down. NIP, a fantastic off-site hold of Gym and Bedroom there, really making these defensive rounds count on Clubhouse.
Well, now the turntables. All of a sudden, we've seen a Freo lead from BDS and Coastline. And that was NIP's map pick, and now we're seeing BDS in their map pick go Freo down. Wow. NIP, 3 rounds that they definitely need. I think still 1 more is needed for them to have a good fighting chance as they move over towards that attacking half. But right now, they are on course.
10 seconds to go.
let's just hope they don't hit any icebergs in the way there.
We'll have to see how they go, as they've given us the full rotation here in Clubhouse. No one expects to see Bar in stock, however much of a good meme it would be. The game of this stakes is not the time to be bringing out that side. They're going to take us downstairs to church. Something that I really liked inside of that last round demo, and something that's really worth highlighting, is the Wamai play. It was an operator that we saw banned out on Coastline. There was a lot of grenade play on Coastline because of the Wamai being banned and the Ash being banned. It forced Shaiko onto the Iana. We spoke about that at the time. Now we're seeing the other side of that. We're seeing just how well NIP can utilize that Wamai and how much of a difference it makes when they commit all three of their ADSs, a deployable shield and Wamai discs into a hotspot, into an area where they know that BDS are going to push through, or they know that they want to keep a hold of, and BDS have just played into it. That's what upset me the most out of that last round, I think, is that BDS have seen all this and they've just been like a moth to a flame. They've gone, I'm going to play into all this utility. We didn't see anyone over in Jacuzzi. I don't even think Jacuzzi wall got opened because there was so much pressure coming in through that CCTV side.
Yeah, it was a 5-man take, and it just did not work for BDS. NIP, they've done the full rotation, and now they head back down to their first bomb site, which is the basement once again. BDS, how will they be taking this round? We've kind of highlighted that perhaps the kitchen dirt is the way forward. Perhaps a Kurt push, could we call that? New acronym? Kurt? What do you think? Will that stick?
I'll have to find a player called Curtis that can play it really well, and then maybe the name will stick.
Yeah. That kite again being played, which, as we know, is a little bit pesky to deal with, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I mean, they have the Maverick. It should be an easy job for him to open up the hatch. So I think BDS, they don't really have anything to worry about. I think it's just how they execute. And I think that opening pick for them is everything. If they can get the opening pick, they have that man advantage. And man advantage on this particular bomb site is everything. We see so many times in so many rounds for this bomb site that it gets down to the final 20 seconds, 15 seconds, and it's a 5v5.
It goes even deeper than just having another gun as well. It's a utility advantage. There's so much pressure on every piece of utility that these attackers are bringing, and there is a job for every single ounce of it. You've got to make sure that you're milking the most out of that utility. And if you lose somebody early, you lose the book, well, kitchen isn't going to get open. That's something that we saw really hurt BDS last time. This time, Renshiro's got himself in. He's going to look to try and open up as much of this floor as possible. Rafal's going to go in with a grenade. It's not going to do any damage, but it could have removed a little piece of utility. I think it's potentially there for the Cade charge on the hatch. It's now going to give Brede the opportunity to get that open. It's a criticism we made in the previous round that there wasn't enough pressure coming in from that kitchen area. Shaiko going to get himself now down into Moto, as Blue is being pushed here by Alem. So a nice two-pronged attack. In fact, make it three as Renshiro, he's going to be joining from Oil Pit as well. So Muzi really going to be feeling the pinch here, but Pino picks up the opening frag there over onto Shaiko, shutting him down inside of Moto. It's now a little bit less to worry about. Rafal, instead of opening up that wall, now has to plug that gap. He has to try and fill the hole that has been left behind, but Renshiro goes huge. Manages to pick up two as Muzi and Pino pretty much line up for each other. Julio does get a trade back with a C4 there over onto Alems and look to aggress on in a little bit further. Finds himself a second onto Renshiro. He's got a glimpse, he's got a chance, he manages to find the frag. Julio goes massive, picks up a quad kill there to keep NIP on a flawless streak here on Clubhouse.
Oh, Julio, I was worried for a minute. You seen him planting right before your eyes, but in the end, it did not matter. You still found those kills, and it was enough to send NIP 4-0 up. Wow, BDS mudded right now. Their attacks are not working. I like the adaptation of sending another person down blue. We've seen Renshiro pick up 2 kills, but the entire Moto push that they had going on just did not work whatsoever. BDS, I don't know, some people just maybe not waking up, not winning their gunfights. That might be what it's down to. I mean, right now, NIP, in terms of kills, they're killing a lot better.
I mean, Julio, what can you say? Steps up when it matters, picks up a quad kill. Everybody on the side of BDS knew where he was there. You know, you can't get multiple kills and nobody to know where you're coming from. He's not some sort of masked vigilante here that's dipping in and out of the shadows. He's bold as brass inside of blue, making that rotation. It's not quite unforgivable, but it's getting there for BDS. They're really struggling with that coordination here on Club. And it's surprising because so far, these two maps have kind of gone the opposites of what we were expecting, right?
It is. I think Julio for NIP is a crucial player, 100%. I think if you look at the other 4 players in NIP, you know what you're going to get with them. Yeah? You're always going to get what you see in the label. With Julio, you don't know, because there's 2 different labels, Ollie. There's one that says, I don't really do much, or I do everything. And right now, we're getting the everything label.
I'd add an asterisk to the first one and say it doesn't look like I do much. Because I think behind the scenes and in the comms, a lot of stuff comes from Julio. And that's why he's able to do things like play the Monty when it comes around to the attacking rounds, provide that information, be that shot caller, and just focus solely on the IGLing aspect. Because you're right, sometimes the visible contribution isn't all too much. And then in other rounds, we get 4Ks.
Exactly. It just depends how he feels in the day, isn't it? We have no idea how Julio will show up. But I think, again, that's maybe why it makes NIP so scary. It's something that you cannot predict is how Julio's going to play. And if he's in a good form, like he just was, scary, scary, scary stuff.
Just take a moment to look at the kills on the side of NIP, and you can see that we've got Muzi, Julio, and Pino, 4 and 5 kills. Pretty much each. Julio sitting there on 4, the last 4, of course, that he got in the previous round, but the more important columns may be the deaths. They've died a maximum of 2 times each. Pino and Psycho dying 2 times each, and then the rest of the guys just dying 1 time inside of the 4 full rounds we've seen now into round number 5. They're not going for these aggressive swings. They're not going for these, careless challenges. Everything is considered and everything is really counted and measured. Alems will find the opener this time onto Muzi. Opening kills so far have only come off the back of Alem's gun. He's going to be able to find himself a second before getting shut down as 2 kills fly on in for NIP. Psycho decides to jump in on the action, taking down Rafal.
Great work by Alems, finding a double, and Kamikaze challenging with the SMG. Not favorable form in that engagement, and Shaiko picks up an easy kill. Still going to be a 3 versus 2, still potential now. 2 versus 2 as Pino has picked up his own kill with the SMG. Psycho, all by himself in the catwalk, ducking and diving every which way he can. The flashbangs rattle on out, but he's still here. He still can see as well as anyone else. Oh, I say that. He's been full blinded. Renshiro has to try and find him, and no, Bride is there to find him himself. Renshiro challenging on to that rotation, and Pino now on the 1 versus 2. If anyone can do it, it will be this man. Swings about 20 HP, but no, Bride. Massive round from the Thermite. He gets the kills where it's needed.
NIP just needed a little bit more from Pino there whilst the pressure was coming in, I think. You can't afford to leave it being a 2 versus 1 when you're getting flashbanged out like that. You've got to try and take a little bit of advantage of that, because reality, there's no way that Psycho gets out there alive. He's not able to crawl. He's not able to get up into a crouch position and rotate. He can't even see. What do you expect the guy to do? You know what I mean? He can't even see. So maybe a little bit more wanted there from Pino in that clutch, but let's be honest, 4-1, it's still pretty convincing here from the side of NIP. That's going to do a lot for BDS, though. That is the first success they've seen since winning Coastline. Up until that point, they have just gone loss after loss, round after round has gone against them. Now could be the time for BDS to turn it on. They don't really want to be leaving it much later. A 4-2 split would still be respectable here on Club.
It would be, but a 5-1's better. Let's be honest. Let's not beat around the bush, Ollie. 5-1.
I mean, not for BDS, it's not.
Yeah, obviously not for the team that's on the receiving end of that, but yeah, a 5-1 would be magnificent for NIP. Gym and bedroom is where they go to. They had the option to go to cash again, but no, opting for the gym and bedroom, which I think arguably probably been their best defended site. BDS, not even a foothold inside of this round the last time they played it.
Jacuzzi didn't get touched.
Yep.
I don't think an attacker stepped foot inside of cash, let alone construction or master bedroom. There was nobody on main stairs. I don't think anyone pushed in from logistics. It was an entirely one-sided push. It all came through cash and
red stairs. That was the only pressure you had.
BDS can't play into that again. This is something that NIP have set up. They have thrown the kitchen sink at this setup. It's exactly the same as previously. There's going to be a deployable shield at the top of cache stairs. There's going to be WAMI magnets. There's going to be ADSs, and there's going to be toxic babe canisters, all of which are going to really slow you down. Already, I like the position of Alems.
Yeah, I
like the fact that he's not pushing there. Already, I like the position of Brede. This is good adaptation here from BDS. And NIP are going to have to turn tail pretty quickly to get repositioned for this new push.
Yeah, NIP putting so much utility is naturally going to deter away all of the defenders. As you can see now, NIP, they've realized that, hey, they're not going for the entire cache side. They're actually going to go for the other side. Let's set up appropriately for that. Using a Thermite charge on the single construction wall, an area that we do not see be pressured as heavily as I think we should be. I think that's a great angle to open up. You can shut down the rotation from construction into office very easily, and of course, gives you another way into the engagements. You know, people swinging into construction all the time. We see that very frequent. Pino in towards dirt. You can get an angle up to the jacuzzi balcony, but nobody's home for him this time around. Wall's been opened. Bathroom wall has also been kited, so they can open that. The only way that they can do it is if they get Rafale in to use the Maverick. But Maverick in that wall is extremely risky. I doubt we will see that.
Yeah, it's not ideal to be Maverick in that wall. It's usually a one-way ticket to watching cameras, as you're just going to get picked off with a C4, or you're going to get swung, or something is going to happen. It's a long process to try and Maverick open a wall, and that adjustment, picking up that K charge and replacing it, is going to do quite a bit here for NIP. But Alems manages to make his way up through main stairs, swings for a second, but gets shut down by Kamikaze, as kills trade 1-for-1 here between these two teams. Brede going to go for a plant now. It is a soft wall there. Kamikaze has a chance, but the covering fire is there. That diffuser is now going to be locked on in. There's a C4 below, but it's coming in a bit too little too late, as it's going to swing and miss just about everybody. Muzi now isn't working off any intel. Brede hasn't been able to move from where he planted. He stood directly on that diffuser. Nobody has any sort of information on that, and it's going to make it very difficult now for NIP to come away with a retake here. Muzi going to aggressively push his way on in, but he hasn't checked his corner. Brede's got the plant and a kill from exactly the same spot. 2 massive kills for NIP. This is very doable here. There's time to defuse, but no, Rafale takes down Pino, and Kamikaze is left in the impossible spot. Hiding outside, we can see the times tick down to 7. The last kill goes through as a trade. It matters not. There was not enough time to disable that diffuser, and BDS come away with that fabled 4-2 split.
So needed for BDS as well. So needed. Still, a good half from NIP. A 4-2 is a great thing to have under your belt going into the attack, but almost nearly a 5-1. I have to give credit to Brede. The plant position he had, Ollie, was perfect. Off position. Nobody's expecting. We've seen where the C4 came out from below. It was onto the default plant spot behind the mattress. Brede rushed deep, obviously fearing that the potential of a C4 from below. And also on top of that, they did not have construction control. It meant that he had to plant somewhere that wasn't, you know, the safest. Of course, planting up against a soft wall, it's not a great plant position, but in that time, NIP had no idea where BDS were trying to get the diffuser down. It worked in their advantage massively. It gave them a free kill. And overall, I think Brede making that round a success.
Another fearless plant from Brede. He had one over on coastline, didn't he? I think that's the fearless plant that we've seen from him here inside of Clubhouse. Back downstairs we go as BDS start off their defensive campaign here, taking us to Church and Arsenal. Now, a slightly different lineup coming out. They're going to bring a Rooney. Alems is going to be manning the good old Surrey gate, or the laser gate.
What kind of gate?
It's a laser gate. It's a little pet name for the old Surrey gates. They're going to be setting up in a slightly different fashion. We're seeing some changes on the side of NIP as well.
No Jaeger again? I'm really surprised at BDS. I'm really surprised at Shaiko, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if the loss of 5 bullets and a change of the recoil has really hit him that much. But I'm just, again, just very, very surprised we're not seeing Shaiko and Jaeger. Very, very surprised.
I think it's surprising whenever we don't see the WAMI as well, but I feel like if you're going to bring Jaeger, you need to almost bring WAMI to get the most out of the Jaeger, because there's just so much on the side of the attackers that they're going to be able to use to burn through everything that you've got. you know, look at the lineup that we're seeing. You know, it's not quite as much as it could be in this attacking lineup. You know, we've got the Jackal and the Ace. You know, the Jackal's going to bring the smokes. The Ace now brings the Claymore. Excuse me. So we're not seeing two nades being brought. It's not something that, you know, you're going to really look to try and double down on. But what it is going to do is it's going to make the nades of Julio a lot more potent.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to hit the mark a lot easier because they're unlikely to be impeded. And the only really thing that can get in the way is going to be one of those laser gates.
Big operator being chosen by NIP. The Jackal comes into play, and that will help them massively with this certain setup that BDS have went for. They're having a lone man inside of CCTV room, and BDS. Oh, what an outrageous wall buying, and Psycho's gone. I was going to go on a rant about how good Jackal is, but no, he's dead, Ollie. He's gone.
Not you want to be losing early.
No.
Let's be honest. You usually use them to find Jackal to find the roamers. Instead, Jackal was found by the roamers. Muzi, he's moving into a position now to try and get a kill, even if it's going to be a late trade. Look at him pre-firing that. There was no way that Muzi was letting BDS get out of there alive. The pre-fire came a good couple of seconds early as he really wanted to try and guarantee that kill. Flush out the players from top floor. We can now see that everybody remaining on the side of BDS is going to be playing on the site. Demo, look at how much time this has cost. If you want to waste time against NIP, throw a roamer out there.
Yep. Everybody
knows that NIP are a slow team to execute. You give them something else to worry about. And we're at 35 seconds, and we're only just getting Moto hatch open. Muzi maybe going to make a rotation now in through Kitchen, because I believe Kitchen hatch will be open as well. BDS, they're in a good position to try and respond onto this one.
Not just a good position, a great position. It's still going to be a 3 versus 3 as Pino and Alams both get kills. Muzi now dropping down, dodges the flashbang and going in for the defuse now. Perhaps no covering off, and Renshiro will actually nail the diffuser, and 5 seconds to go, and Echo is up as well. NIP just a little bit too slow.
Something we've said quite a few times now, Demo, is NIP and time. NIP a little bit too slow. BDS, they have enabled that. They have accelerated how much that really comes to hurt NIP. One roamer was all it took. BDS playing inside of CCTV was all it took there. An opening kill. You could see that NIP wanted to try and move a little bit quicker there. If a team wants to deal with roamers quickly, they're going to bring the Jackal. It's, you know, roamers can be dealt with drones and crossfires and setting up. You want to deal with a roam quickly, you bring the Jackal. It's one of the reasons why we see NIP bring in Lion, because they want to deal with that roam as quickly as humanly possible, because they themselves know. We've spoken to Julio in interviews, and he knows that they're a slow team on the attack. So they use these tools to try and speed themselves up, and unfortunately end up losing that opening engagement. It's going to be the first round here for BDS on the defense, but could it be a sign of things to come?
So, BDS, good first start to your round, and now you're going to move into your next bomb site and towards that cache room, no surprise. And finally, Shaiko on his signature operator, Jaeger, has been brought. I think for this bomb site especially, you definitely need to have that for the catwalk hold. Catwalk is probably the most, not probably, definitely the most difficult position for a defender to hold. You're up here, and it is just terrible. You are stuck like a rat. You're trapped in. Once that breach gets opened, you're not getting out. You're on your belly for, I'd say, 70% of the round. It is thinking about playing here just does not make me feel well. I feel uncomfortable talking about it.
More like a slug than a rat then?
I don't.
If you're going to be on your belly?
Rats scurry along the floor, like, come on now.
Just slithering around, you know, chilling out there on the catwalk. It is a difficult place to play. You often play there until the bitter end. It can be very awkward to try and get out of there alive.
But one thing about a catwalk player, though, Wally, is it can be a make or break off a round. If the catwalk player finds maybe 1 or 2 kills, that is more than enough to kind of sacrifice. I think if the catwalk player is strong enough, which I think is going to be Rafal in this scenario, probably not the best operator. I mean, the SMG-11 is not the greatest in terms of long-distance engagements, which you will have a lot of in that position. If he picks up 1 or 2 kills, yeah, definitely worth it.
That's it. It comes down to wasting time as well and having a presence and, you know, being able to just not give away such free and early access over toward the attackers. Lems is actually going to be downstairs there as well. So maybe looks to join his teammate in holding on to that garage. Rafal's going to be up there inside of the rafters. I kind of like that from BDS, honestly. I think it's, you know, good to try and invest in there just a little bit. It gives Rafal a little bit more time, a little bit more option. It's more things to peek from, and with the amount of pressure that NIP are currently putting into it, it's probably pretty safe to say that both of those players are going to be alive, and if no push comes through Garage whatsoever, then it makes executing onto the site as an attacker extremely difficult.
Shaiko close to the construction door, which is the area that NIP want to try and execute on. They're going to try and attempt a bedroom take in towards Cash, and Shaiko does not care, almost finds the second. Oh, a bunch of kills come out. It's actually been a nade kill onto Kamikaze. Oh no, NIP, this is tragic for them.
We said that those nades would hit, but we didn't realize that they would be hitting friendlies. Muzi, unfortunate stuff, puts a few shots into Rafal, but it is not enough. A Lems with the swing, a lack of information here for NIP and Psycho in the 1 versus 4. The diffuser cold on the ground just to his left. He will be able to recover it if he likes, but look at the situation that he's in. He's getting pinged out by a Yokai drone. He's able to push on through, finds it down and confirms it. Manages to find the first one. Now goes hella aggressive, vaulting over the shield, looking to make his way through the rotation hole, but it announced himself. A Lems shuts him down, and BDS, they look they're going to start to try and level things up here.
Yeah, that round, a little bit sloppy from NIP. The nade team kill, ooh, a little bit, I'd say, frustrating round more than anything. Looked good, the setup looked good. And all of a sudden, that happens. It puts a real dampener on the round, and it did kind of end at that point. NIP losing. What's that? That's 4 rounds in a row they've lost. Keep that in mind. They won 4 rounds, and now BDS have responded with 4 rounds on the bounce. Wonder if NIP were maybe thinking, should we take the tactical timeout at this round? Maybe.
I think it's a thought that's got to flash through your mind, doesn't it?
When you keep it if they go lose another one, maybe?
There's an argument to, you know, maybe using it at the end of the next round if that doesn't go their favor as well, because then they will have seen all the sites. Yeah. You know, you want to use it after you've got as much information as possible to then discuss inside of the timeout. So far, NIP have seen 2 defenses, and they know what they're going to be expecting.
They're still even. It's not as if they're losing now. I think if they lose this round, then they'll be 5-4 down. Perfect time to use it.
You know, defend-decided Clubhouse. I am not blown off my feet. You know, I am not at all with shot. Okay, it's what we kind of expect to see, especially when, you know, we've got 2 teams facing off against each other of this sort of caliber. You do expect defensive rounds to come a little bit easier.
If we compare this map to Coastline, whenever NIP were panicking a little bit, we've seen the Monty be pulled out. Can't do that. Monty's been banned out. It's a bit of a tough one, I think, for NIP. It's an operator that they rely on very heavily to kind of get them out. It's like their last chance to really pull off anything. It's like the redemption operator. But yeah, I think losing that, it's going to put a dampener on things, definitely.
Fear not, Demo. There is still an operator called Blitz.
Blitz isn't a Monty.
If we see the Blitz, we know that NIP are down bad, because it doesn't perform the same task. It doesn't tick the same boxes that the Monty does. I think that NIP have just now got to battle through that crutch pick of the Monty, if that's what it is. You know, and we call it that because we see it brought in so many crucial rounds when things really do matter and, you know, games start to be on the line. Don't forget, the game is on the line here for NIP. If they lose this, they drop down into the lower bracket. Team BDS, they want to try and get the win here and just secure it as a nice, easy 2-0 and then be able to move on through. What's going on here? That mute jammer placement is beautiful. It has been placed a little bit further back than usual, and I'm not sure if anyone is able to get an angle on it. It's going to take Muzi actually pushing all the way through, in through Garage and onto Catwalk to be able to destroy that mute.
So, Rafal and Shaiko will be the 2 men, and Pino, from below, I mean, the Buck is a very dangerous operator for this particular setup. Whenever you know teams are holding in towards cash, go below, start opening the vertical game, and it will gift you kills. Shaiko is off the board, and NIP, they have that cash room side. This is where they can establish their push, and, well, I mean, this is much further than where BDS were at whenever they were trying to go for this attack.
It is. We've not seen too much success from attackers so far pushing through construction side, but NIP are making it look relatively straightforward here. They've been able to get the opening kill as well, and they now look to try and pressure on into the site. Muzi, in fact, just going to waltz his way all the way on through. The Psycho is pressuring now into Logi. Renshiro going to be playing there as well. He's got some ping information. He knows that players are going to be coming on in, maybe calling for a C4 from below. Alems is going to oblige. That can now be called out as and when it is required to be detonated, and at least Renshiro won't go down without at least the chance of a kill coming through as a trade. But Muzi from nowhere takes down Renshiro, furthering the advantage here for NIP. Now, in typical NIP fashion, they haven't got the most time in the world, but there is 30 seconds. It is time enough to work with here. BDS goes for a swing as well. It's shaping up to be a flawless as Muzi goes massive. Does get shut down by Rafal. Psycho has made his way into logistics. The C4 was not detonated, and Alems will fall before he can do so. Rafal now left inside of the 1 versus 4. Psycho shuts him down. A successful gym and bedroom attack here from NIP.
BDS not holding angles, allowing NIP just to walk in. Yeah, very, very confusing. NIP could not have had an easier round if they wanted to. BDS, I don't know. Very little site presence. Losing cash early on, which was a big thing. You have to give credit to NIP. Their cash take was exceptional. I love the fact that they put the buck below. I think as soon as if you're holding inside a cash and you hear a buck, automatically you are scared. You're thinking, okay, I need to get out of here or else I will get killed from below.
Certainly not somewhere that you want to be. Very destructible, and it's all enough to try and force players to make rotations and move. I liked the confidence that we saw NIP moving with there, particularly on the side of Muzi.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He was able to get himself in and just show us what he's all about. He is able to get in there and just start fragging out. And BDS didn't have a Scooby-Doo of a clue as to where that was all coming from. There was some nice little play there from BDS. You know, I really liked the way that Renshiro and Alems were able to coordinate the C4, but it was all just stuff that didn't really come to anything. The focuses were maybe a little bit elsewhere, and had a flank come up through Garage, had there been a little bit of late round pressure, we could have seen something a bit different there, but NIP, for all intents and purposes, flooded in through CCTV and cash and won the gunfights.
Yeah, again, Shaiko losing that opening engagement, another opening death for him. It would be an interesting stat to see how many times he has died first in, I think, both maps as well. But we'll see if Shaiko can maybe pull it together and get back into that form that we know is so scary. But everyone else in BDS still stepping up to the plate. I mean, Alems, again, this man, this tournament, he wants that trophy. He wants to win that.
He really does. If BDS want a chance at getting there in a little bit of a shorter way, they need to win this map demo. We don't really want to be going to all maps inside of a best of 3, although there is a delight awaiting us if we do. We do get Consulate. Could be one of those days where either team win one another's map pick.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
This was picked by BDS. You know, teams have deep map pools for a reason. You know, a map that your opponents pick, you know, it's usually a map that you're quite happy to play on as well, because this is the way that the map bans are masterminded by mainly the backroom staff. I think some of the unsung heroes behind a lot of these teams. So they come out with these, you know, wonderful sort of map ban strategies and figure out just whereabouts they're going to go, and they usually know exactly where that is. So both teams very well prepped coming into this one. We're seeing NIP just edge the lead here. I think the important thing to note is that they've been able to do that quite early on into their attacking phase.
Yeah.
Because now it just gives them a little bit more of an opportunity that, you know, there's 2 rounds left here of regulation to try and sort of close this out for them.
Yeah, the last attack that NIP had on the basement, it was pretty miserable. The time just up against them right the way through. This time BDS, I think they've gave early kind of map control over to NIP, not wanting to chance any roam games or anything like that. But again, NIP, I mean, with 1:15 to go, that's more than enough time in terms of how quick the basements gets pushed, which is not quick at all. It is definitely one of the most slowest rounds that we have out of any off the maps. This is a very layered map. You have so many different things you need to check off. You have so many different angles, destructibility, all of the hatches. It is a real task, and Shaiko, as easy as you like with the C4, finds the kill on Depino. The first blood going in favor of BDS, and Ollie, that has been the real game changer for BDS. If they have the opening kill on this bomb site, it makes things a lot easier for them.
It really will. Psycho now forced to drop into Moto as he needs to advance his push. Lemsi a huge chunk of damage, but Muzi going to come in with a trade over onto Shaiko. Now control of blue has been gained, and it's going to turn the heads of a few of these defenders as they try and stem the flow from that direction as well. Muzi not going to put too much pressure here, though. He knows that he's got time on his side. 20 seconds, in fact, to get his utility on through. A beautiful headshot onto Renshiro. He now knows that there's a player inside a dirt tunnel as well. He's going to shut him down as well. Finds himself the triple. A Lems left in the impossible position. Julio comes in with a trade there, picking up that round for NIP. That's going to put them, Demo, onto a match point.
Muzi, unbelievable inside of blue. That shot that he pulled off was fabulous. Wow, NIP just keep it going, Ollie. This train that they're on, match point for them. One more round and it will see out Clubhouse in their favor. BDS need to pull off 2 rounds to take it to OT.
Church and Arsenal being tried again here from BDS, Demo.
That kill he got on Renshiro. Wow. This guy, I said it, Pino Muzi. That is the duo. Big reason why NIP did so well their last invitational run, and a big reason why they're still in this game today.
You can just say how much it means to them as well. They know the importance of that upper bracket seed and being able to stay inside of the upper bracket. You know, the team that loses here, they're not out. That's something to stress. They do drop down into that lower bracket, and there is a chance to make the miracle run. Yep. But it's a long old road.
Ollie, if you're in the upper bracket and you win 3 matches in a row, you're in the grand final with a map advantage. 3 matches, that is it. Whereas, for example, if we take a team from the lower bracket who are playing today, they have to win 7. I think it's 7. 99% sure it's 7.
It's more than 3.
Yes, definitely.
It is a long and arduous journey through that lower bracket. It is possible. However, give yourself the best chance, reveal the least, keep yourself nice and fresh. You want to make that miracle run through the upper bracket and get to the grand final, as you say, Demo, in a short amount of games as possible. NIP, they've kept themselves in this match and this matchup. BDS winning map number 1. They now sit on a match point. A chance to close things out and to take us onto our 3rd map of Consulate. I've got to question the side choice here from BDS. What are they hoping to achieve? What are they hoping to do differently? Because they've not been successful downstairs so far.
I think BDS, the first time they defended it, they had much more of a roam presence, and it was able to stall out NIP. One thing that you've highlighted a lot is NIP are a very slow attacking side. If you can put any wrench into the working mechanism that is NIP, it will gunk them down heavily. So I think if BDS, they can try and waste as much time as they can, it would be a lot better for them. They haven't decided to do that. They have went just for the simple turtle technique where you just sit in the site and hope for the best. NIP have clocked on, they see nobody has came up above, they are straight into the building, everything covered off, everything being opened up, and they have so much time to play with. If you give NIP the time to set up their executes, they're a terrifying team.
I saw the mute and I was immediately looking for the Mozzie. I was thinking, are BDS just going to say, right, yeah, we are going to give you the roam game to play into and we're going to try and waste as much of your time as possible, but it isn't something that we saw. Already early pressure and 2 kills for NIP. Muzi and Julio picking up 1 apiece. Shaiko and Renshiro both shut on down. A Lems, he's able to rotate his way back on in, but Muzi still looking to pressure and threaten down this blue corridor. He's able to put some pre-fire shots on, but he isn't able to connect just as of yet. There's still a minute left, so there is an eternity in this round for these defenders to stave off the push, especially with such a significant man advantage. Rafal is unlikely to be able to make use of any of those yokai drones, as I imagine the pressure is just going to be a little bit too much, as Julio now starts to open the triple wall. Looking to gain some more information and some more angles. Of course, gives Rafal an opportunity to try and peek on through. He's going to dish some shots out, but shots come back in return. Now Rafal's in a pretty tough spot. He's going to get flashed out and taken down there by Psycho. The pinch and the push coming in from NIP, and Bride in the 1 versus 5. He's inside a dirt tunnel, and I think Muzi knows exactly where he is. A plant is being attempted. There's control of Kitchen Hatch. There's everything going for NIP. A flawless round to close out Clubhouse here, as we're going all the way.
You give NIP the time to set up their takes and watch the chaos